Hello and welcome to another episode of North Coast History and Haunts. In today's episodes, we explore the Tindall Bridge. It's a bridge that crosses the Sandusky River here in Ballville, a quiet suburb of Fremont, Ohio. Although the bridge is over 100 years old, it's not the first bridge to stand at this location. The original crossing was a wooden bridge built by the Tindall family, early settlers who arrived at the area in 1822 and settled in the area somewhat by chance. A family death and broken wagon slowed their westward progress, so they decided to call the area home. The Tindall family owned and operated a farm and mill roughly a quarter of a mile from where the bridge stands today. For years, the bridge served farmers, wagons, and travelers moving through this rural stretch of Sandusky County. But by 1864, the wooden structure had fallen into disrepair. County commissioners ultimately decided it was time to replace it, and another bridge took its place. The bridge that stands today was constructed in 1915 by the Champion Iron Company of Kenton, Ohio. Measuring 332 feet in length, it's unusual in one key way. It allows only a single lane of traffic, a reminder of an earlier era. For much of its history, the area around Tindall Bridge was a place of leisure. Families gathered nearby for barbecues and picnics. On warm days, people swam and fished in the river below. As the decades passed, the bridge also gained a reputation, something of a lover's lane, a quiet place for young couples, late-night conversations, and what locals once referred to as petting parties. But alongside these innocent memories, the bridge area also accumulated a darker history as well. Some believe those events may be responsible for the strange shadows, unexplained sounds, and uneasy feelings reported here over the years. The tragedies began early. On July 22, 1922, 46-year-old Myrtle Slaymaker was riding in a touring car with her family when the vehicle accidentally backed off a 20-foot embankment near the bridge into the river below. Though she survived the crash itself, the shock would prove fatal. Her official cause of death was listed as a heart attack a day later. Less than 3 years later, on April 13, 1925, violence reached the bridge. In an attempt at robbery or murder, Harold Chilcote fired shots at Francis Bacon as Bacon was attempting to drive across the Tindall Bridge. Rather than stopping as ordered, Bacon accelerated, forcing Chilcote to leap into the river below, shooting directly at Bacon. Bacon would escape harm, though. Chilcote, however, was already wanted. He had killed a gas station attendant named Gilbert Ix in nearby Fremont the day before, and he would be captured soon after. That same year, during Prohibition, Tindall Bridge became a focal point for law enforcement. In June of 1925, federal agents searched cars crossing the bridge looking for illegal alcohol. Its isolated country location made it a favored route for bootleggers transporting and manufacturing liquor far from town. More tragedy followed. In March of 1948, police discovered the body of a 33-year-old man beneath the bridge, seated in his car. He had taken his own life. His first attempt, shooting himself in the chest, failed. His second shot, shooting himself in the head, ended his life. Officers described the scene as graphic and deeply disturbing. On October 29, 1961, 70-year-old Kate Stark left her home in nearby Fremont for a walk and never returned. Authorities believe she jumped from the Tindall Bridge into the Sandusky River. Her body was recovered the following day. Less than a year later, on March 10, 1962, 7-year-old Kenneth Town was playing on the ice-covered river when he fell through the ice, trapped and drowned in the river not far from the bridge, a tragedy that would shake the local community. In more recent years, it appears another life may have been lost in an automobile accident near one of the stone abutments to the bridge, adding yet another chapter to its already troubled history. But without question, the most notorious event tied to Tindall Bridge is one that brought statewide attention and remains deeply etched into Sandusky County lore. In the early morning hours of May 2, 1955, 26-year-old Samuel Woodrow Tannehill, an ex-convict with an extensive criminal record, walked into the Hut restaurant in Fremont, Ohio, intending to rob it. Spotting a cab driver inside, he left, and he would return a few minutes later. This time, the restaurant was nearly empty. The only employee on duty was 29-year-old waitress Shirley Bradford. Tannehill confronted her with a gun and demanded the night's till. Shirley opened the register and handed over $100, the night's earnings, but left behind $40. But the crime didn't end there. Tannehill forced Shirley to leave with him, believing she would immediately call police if left behind. His plan was to abandon her somewhere out of town, buying himself enough time to escape. Inside the car, Shirley was shocked to recognize him. She knew his sister. The realization rattled Tannehill. He idolized his sister and promised Shirley that no harm would come to her if she agreed not to tell his sister about the robbery. Upset and believing that she had the upper hand, Shirley refused. She told him she would tell his sister everything, calling him a lousy brother. Tannehill drove around Fremont, desperately trying to come up with a plan. According to Tannehill, he drove Shirley to Tindall Bridge, intending to slap some sense into her. What followed was brutal. The confrontation escalated, ending with Shirley Bradford being beaten to death with a piece of iron taken from his car jack. At his trial, Tannehill claimed Shirley grabbed his gun and that he struck her out of fear that she would shoot him. Police found her body near the bridge the next morning, beaten and shot. Tannehill fled to Missouri but was captured soon after. His attorneys argued insanity, but the jury rejected the defense. He was convicted and sentenced to death. On November 26, 1956, Samuel Woodrow Tannehill was executed in the electric chair at the Ohio State Penitentiary. Over time, the bridge began to acquire a dark reputation. Soon, the scourge of drugs and associated violence found the bridge area, and police began to frequent the area on patrol. Rumors of unseen footsteps, disembodied voices, shadow figures, and creepy vibes have attracted paranormal seekers to this dark location. Some have also whispered this may be one of the many crybaby bridges that seem to inhabit most of Ohio counties. Today, the bridge still stands, quiet, narrow, and unassuming. Yet for many, Tindall Bridge is more than steel and concrete. It's a place where history, tragedy, and legends intersect, and where the past may not be as distant as it seems. This has been another episode of North Coast History and Haunts. We hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more.